What's up, everyone? Kevin Allen here, aka the Geek from DFS Army. It is NFL Week 4, and this is our Draftkings first look. All right, we're taking a look at NFL Week 4 for DraftKings DFS purposes. And just like every week, before we get into the actual player breakdown and all of that, I like to take an overview of the games, see which games look exciting this week, see which games are, ones to target for DFS purposes. And I'm going to tell you right off the bat, there are some interesting ones this week, including some surprisingly high game totals and maybe some unusually low ones. But all of those will make 4 games to target. So we are taking a look at DraftKings NFL Week 4 main slate. Viking Saints game in London. So we ignore that one. And I'm going right to the top here. Jaguars at the Eagles. Jaguars coming off a big game last week. Trevor Lawrence doing his thing. Zay Jones out there crushing it. Jaguars looking pretty good. But I'm a little surprised at this 48 total. The Eagles are looking like the representative of the NFC, at least potentially in the Super Bowl this year. So love the Eagles, love that offense. And if the Jaguars make it competitive, we go right back to the Eagles. Devonta Smith coming off the monster game. And of course, A.J. Brown always doing his thing. So that one is interesting. But the 5-star screamer, Bills at the Ravens, close spread. Baltimore coming off another monster game for Lamar, and the Bills are just smashing with Josh Allen and crew. Last week, a weird breakout from Devin Singletary. Will that continue? Don't think so, but who knows? So this game is the screaming buy. On the Ravens side, we haven't seen a lot from Rashad Bateman, or he hasn't been as consistent, but Devin Duvernay seems to score a touchdown every week. And of course, Mark Andrews right now is leading the league at the tight end position as the GOAT. So lots to love in this Bills-Ravens game. We are going to be building around that one heavily. We got some gross ones here. Commanders at Dallas. Nothing sexy about that other than cheat code Curtis Samuel if he continues to be underpriced. Here's a surprising one. Seattle at Detroit. 50-point total. I don't even know what's going on here. Can Seattle score that many points in a game? I don't know, but maybe we have to take a look at players from Seattle. Maybe even Rashad Penny. Certainly, I guess, DK Metcalf and Tyler Lockett, I guess. Considerations. On the Detroit side, Swift out, Jamal Williams in. Perfect matchup. Oh my goodness, chalk Jamal Williams. What could go wrong? Here's another. This one's just shocking for me as far as this game total, 49.5. I'm legitimately shocked. I don't know what I'm missing, but the Browns at the Falcons, massive game total. Close game. This screams buy. It's a 49.5 point total, a 1.5 point spread. I don't know if you guys could see this on screen. 1.5 point spread, but Browns and Falcons, that's just weird, but okay. Let's consider players from this game as well. I guess we go right back to Nick Chubb. I guess Amari Cooper, Falcons side, maybe consider, some of those rookies again. Kyle Pitts, Drake London. It's hard to trust Mariota at the quarterback position, but maybe he hasn't had big scores though. Jets at Steelers looks a gross 40-point total. Pretty much stay away game unless otherwise notified. I guess Najee Harris. There'll be some pieces from this game that might be interesting. Chargers at the Texans. Do we go back to Pierce? Is he priced up? We'll see. Chargers offense, Herbert back in. If Chargers offense is really tough to play. Too many names when they're all healthy. Titans, Colts, Pittman, Henry, Jonathan Taylor, 42.5 point game. It's low scoring. Doesn't look that great. Bears, Giants, looks gross, but Khalil Herbert, going to be interesting if David Montgomery is out this weekend. And I think Saquon Barkley is super interesting. So the running backs in that game will be interesting, even in the low total. Cardinals, Panthers, I'm surprised at how low the total is for this game, but that makes me kind of interested, again, in potentially some Kyler Murray and some players from the Cardinals in general. Panthers defense, okay, but not that great. Patriots without the starting quarterback. That looks like a slaughter. Maybe Aaron Jones in a situation like that, in a beating kind of situation. And last game on the main slate, we got the Broncos at the Raiders. This is a weird spread with the Broncos favored because Russell Wilson stinks, and I kind of want to play the Raiders. I want to bet the Raiders here. Actually, who's favored? Yeah, the Raiders are 2.5-point favorites with a 46-point total. So, still like the Raiders in that spot. As far as players from this game, we'll have to see. Obviously, Devontae Adams and Jamal Williams. You have the usual suspects in that game, probably under the radar. Probably under the radar at 46-point total. So, with that being said, let's take a look at the salaries and some of these games and see what we can get figured out here. Now, I think the ultimate play this week is just Josh Allen. He's the same price as Lamar Jackson. He's been doing about the same work. I mean, obviously, Lamar Jackson's in the mix as well. Buffalo defense being a top defense, fine. But Lamar is designed to beat top defense. I'm not worried about it with him. I probably like Josh Allen maybe a smidge more because Josh Allen's matchup is essentially better because Baltimore's defense is significantly worse. Plus, if Jackson is scoring, Allen is probably keeping up. So, yes. Jalen Hurts has been spectacular this season. Another high-scoring game total. I'm on it. I'm on the Jalen Hurts bandwagon. I think Josh Allen's who I'm going to plug in for now. But just going through the rest of these quarterbacks, Kyler Murray's definitely in play. Herbert pricing coming down a little bit makes him interesting. Russ Wilson, I think you have to take him off your list for now. Wentz here against Dallas is not the best of plays, in my opinion. Goff over, almost 6K. Just when does he pay that off? I guess he had the one decent week, but it's pretty much the 6K even is priced really, really towards Goff's ceiling. Same thing with Derek Carr. He just hasn't had games above 23, 24 fantasy points. So 6, 12, 18, 20. They're priced to the ceiling, these guys. They need the perfect game. I need 5X for my quarterback. Like, to win a tournament, I need 5X, not 4X. And these guys will peak at 4X. So they're not the best of plays, in my opinion. Matt Ryan stinks. Jacoby Brissett stinks. Ryan Tannehill stinks. Geno Smith stinks. Daniel Jones stinks. Cooper Rush stinks. Justin Fields stinks. Joe Flacco / Zach Wilson both stink. That's it, guys. We are paying up we are paying up. You want to play Hoyer? No, he stinks. We're paying up at quarterback this week, it looks like. I'm just not seeing anybody that even stands out as playable at this moment. Maybe things will change, but I think this is going to pay up at quarterback and probably hang out right in this upper echelon zone. And it might be a week just to go all in on Lamar and Josh Allen. I don't know. It's early in the week, or Hurts. It's early in the week for that. The only other, do we want to play Trevor Lawrence? He had a good week last week at 5,700. Again, we'll find a couple of these cheapies that are viable, but I don't love any of it. Mariota feels like mildly viable, but not really. All right, let's take a look at the running back position. And running back is what's been killing us. Running back killed a lot of people last week. It killed everybody the week before. No, not me. I killed it. No, you didn't. Only one running back did well in week 3, in week 2. And the running backs in week 3 that did well were not anybody that anybody played. You didn't play Jamal Williams. You didn't play Clyde Edwards-Helaire. You didn't play Khalil Herbert. You didn't play those guys. Stop lying. Running back has been tough. Let's see if we can get it figured out for week 3. Jonathan Taylor, top of the list. Man, this guy has not been producing, but it's a get right spot. Jonathan Taylor, 50 burger upside. So, he's going to be in the mix. I don't think I'm going to be looking to pay top dollar for running backs, but, he's definitely in the mix. Christian McCaffrey, sure. Eventually, he's going to turn it around. Got the attempts last week. This was more a Christian McCaffrey line. And I think you have to be encouraged by what you're seeing with the team using more and more of Christian McCaffrey. Expect the explosion soon. It could be this week. Expect it, though. It's coming. Derrick Henry, big start last week, and he's always this guy that can get there. He's always this guy that can get there. This is a perfectly acceptable matchup. Saquon Barkley, I really like this matchup because it's unlikely that Chicago is going to run away with this game. They're not very good. So Barkley's just going to keep getting opportunities. I would like to see, Barkley would be so much better if he was connected to a less shitty team than the Giants. But what can you do? We use the cards that were dealt. So Barkley playable, but at 8K, we'll see. Austin Eckler really hasn't gotten enough volume to, the matchup, it couldn't be any better, but where's the volume for Austin Eckler? It's just not good, and he's not justifying the salary at all. Could this be an Aaron Jones spot? I think yes. Swift looks like he won't play. Could benefit by taking the next 2 weeks off. You know what else could benefit? Loading up on Jamal Williams. So we'll see about that. Cordero Patterson coming off a big game. He got a lot of work. So Cordero, where are those targets though? Would like to see him used a little bit more in the passing game, but Cordero, GPP. James Robinson, big time GPP. This guy is a beast. Look at all this work. 17 and 3, 17 carries, 3 receptions. Let's just see what ETN did to match him. 13 carries, 3 receptions. So yeah, they're still working both, but James Robinson is still the clear top dog. He's interesting. I think we're going to get to some of these pay down guys though, and they're going to be the most exciting. So Connor, I think Connor's very playable in the spot against Carolina. He hasn't had his smash games yet, but the usage continues to be there for him, and eventually he's going to do his thing. They do like to throw to him. Montgomery obviously got hurt last week, and it burned a lot of chalk. So we got to see if Khalil Herbert is the starter. They're calling him day to day. Let's see what happens with with Herbert and Montgomery. Zeke Elliott just never has the upside that I'm looking for. He's just not somebody I'm going to play. If Montgomery is out, then Herbert stands out here at 5,700 against the Giants. Giants are not a team that's going to break away. So we have to see if that happens. I think Jamal Williams is an auto play, though. He is the core play for week 4. Detroit scoring a lot of points. They lean on the running back position. Will they bring in another guy? Yes. Like Jamal Williams is not going to all of a sudden get a lot more work than what he's getting. 20 carries, couple targets, but that's enough at 6K. That's great on a team that scores a lot. So I'm down with Jamal Williams, assuming, I think we can assume at this point that Swift is going to be out. So Jamal Williams is going to be plug and play this week. Khalil Herbert also stands out pretty well. We got to make sure he's the starter. Just to go through a few more spots here. Gibson, meh. Sanders, never. A.J. Dillon, no. Singletary, I'm not buying in on the big week from Singletary last week. Melvin Gordon is never somebody that I like to play. Either at this price, I need a full-time starter, not the number 2 guy. Damien Pierce, man, we talked about him last week, and he delivered. And you cannot deny the workload. 20 carries, 2 targets. Again, running back from a bad team doesn't always work out that well. But, this game has a high total. It's closer than you would think. Let's go back to that one. 4.5 points. This is not a Texans team that are 10-point underdogs. 44-point total and a close game. So I think Pierce is in the mix as well for me. Josh Jacobs really hasn't gotten it done, so I'm not going to get super excited about him. Maybe tournament upside, I guess. And going down from here, there's some usual cheap suspects that I want to mention. Ramondre's coming off a big game, but with him and Harris together, massive underdogs. I don't like it. I do like Ramondre in terms of him being the pass catching back. You'd think he'd get a little more work here. I think he's maybe sneaky with Hoyer at the helm doing the check down thing. But the guy that might be the sneakiest of all is Rashad Penny. Listen, Rashad Penny's getting sort of the RB1 treatment for his team. They're not a good team. They haven't run well. There's nothing about it. But I just know that Rashad Penny's a talented running, like he's a good player, and they're in another spot at Detroit. What more can you ask for? So, I guess you could have asked for being at home against Atlanta, and that didn't really deliver. That's the concern with Penny. But let me just look at Walker. Yeah, Walker's just not taking over the role. I mean, 3 carries. So it's definitely Rashad Penny getting the prime work in that backfield. And again, do with that what you will. But I think Rashad Penny's super sneaky and somebody to keep in mind this week. That's about it at the running back position. I'm going to plug in Khalil Herbert as our RB2 for this lineup build just to see how this comes together. Now, as you guys all know, I like to punt defense, especially in these sort of first look lineup approaches. So I'm just going to punt the cheapest viable defense that we can find. And going to go, let's see here. Man, none of these defenses look very good, even all the way at the bottom end of the range. I guess we could just plug in New England. I don't love it. I think Titans at the Colts carry mild interest. I'm going to go Titans at the Colts. I'm going to go Titans. And the reason being, I don't know, Matt Ryan just looks like shit out there. So 2,500, we'll leave that for now. But that quick, brief glance at defense does not bode well for pay down on defense bros. Does not bode well. Not at all. All right. Continuing on, let's take a look at the wide receiver position. We've already got Josh Allen in our lineup. So it would be nice to find some ways of getting some correlative players between Allen, maybe somebody from Baltimore in this lineup as well. I don't think it's going to be particularly easy to squeeze in Mark Andrews, but I'm interested in him. See if we can get him in there. That leaves 5K left. So we're going to have to see in this first look approach. It's going to be tough because I don't really have clear cut super punts like the Mac Hollins play and the Zay Jones plays. They didn't pop up until late last week when we were doing some of our late week stuff. So in the early look, I don't necessarily have too many of these characters. Actually, I'm going to throw one in here that I think a couple in here actually that I think are reasonable. Zay Jones is going to have a tough matchup. The Eagles bring elite cornerbacks to the table. Slay and Bradbury. I mean, both guys are really, really good. You don't want to screw with the Eagles secondary, especially not with the WR1 and WR2. Slot wide receivers can do okay. Maybe tight ends would be in a better position. Jahan Dotson playable. Romeo Dubes might be interesting. Can we go back to Mac Hollins again? Maybe. But to keep it correlated, I'm going to go with Devin Duvernay, who seems to score a touchdown every week. I don't like Devin Duvernay. I don't like the play. As a matter of fact, I can't do it. I'm not doing it. I'm not getting on this. You know what? I changed my mind. I've been off this Duvernay bandwagon. He's been burning me with 2 targets a game. And, at some point, that's fine. Is Rondelle Moore coming back? Ready for week 4. Here we go. You know what? I think it's Rondelle Moore. Let's go Rondelle Moore, ready for week 4 in the Dortch role. They need somebody to throw to. I don't mind this matchup. So I'm going to go Rondelle Moore as a little salary saver. Okay? We'll start there. Now, jumping up to the top end of the wide receiver range, Stefan Diggs, obviously with Josh Allen, he's now priced up all the way at the top of the slate. And for good reason. He'll get targeted aplenty. He did get dinged up a little bit, so we have to find out what's up with that. Devonta Adams really hasn't gotten us there the last few weeks since that week 1 explosion, but the targets will be there for him. I think the productivity will come, but it's, again, scary to pay up. So when we pay $8,000 on DraftKings, 8, 16, 24, 32, we need about 35 fantasy points to help us achieve a tournament takedown. So when you look at these players and they're priced at 8,400, it's like, oh man, I need a 35, 36 out of him to keep pace. So there is a consequence that comes with paying up for studs. And the consequence is if they don't deliver studly results, you're screwed. So, we're going to keep that in mind at the high level. Adams, even if he gets you the 33, it's not like, oh, I didn't play Adams, I can't win. No, he just kind of kept you in the game. Amon-Ra coming off the injury. I love Amon-Ra in this spot, though. If he's healthy, he's somebody I'm interested in. A.J. Brown, more of a pair with Hurts guy. I love him, but you're playing Hurts lineups. Might as well pair him with those. Michael Pittman coming off the dud. Not really wanting to play him against the defense. Plus, can't really pay up. Plus, there's no correlation here to speak of. I want to mention Marquise Brown. 17 targets, 14 receptions. Yeah, baby. He's heating up. He's heating up. Let's not sleep on Marquise Brown coming off a game like that. He is heating up, and we have to be aware of it. DK Metcalf priced all the way up, almost 7K. The targets have been there, but with Geno Smith at the quarterback, no. CeeDee Lamb, same deal. I mean, I get that some targets are going his way now, 11 and 12, so Cooper Rush is throwing to him, but 7, 14, 21, 28. I mean, we're asking for 28 fantasy points from a guy catching passes from essentially what is a turd. There's no way that is something I'm going to ever feel safe doing. Gabriel Davis is interesting as a pairing with Josh Allen, and this is the way I'm going to go on this lineup. Let's just, because I'd like some correlative. Actually, you know what? No, we need something cheaper. We're going to get cheaper with it. Should we? Nah, fuck that. Going with Gabe. Isaiah McKenzie is interesting as well, but he's now priced up. He had the big week last week. I think it shifts. I think this week we shift over to Gabe Davis. Baltimore has trouble in their secondary with Diggs kind of maybe dinged up. I think maybe that focus needs to go to Davis. Now let's look for our cheat code here. But, some other interesting ones. Amari Cooper in play here, very much in play. Coming off a big week. Look at all these targets. I mean, again, a bad quarterback, but the targets are there. But again, he hit his ceiling the last couple weeks, 6, 12, 18, 24, and that's right about 4x. So I think Cooper is in play here, but not something I'm going crazy for. Similarly, Drake London, if we're going to build around that game, Drake London looks good. Devonta Smith coming off the big week. Again, more of a pairing with Jalen Hurts. Curtis Samuel, they're pricing him up, man. They're listening to the show. They're listening to the show. Another 10 targets, another 9, 10. Cheat code ends when cheat code costs 6K. So we're coming to the end of our Curtis Samuel free money run. It's been great. Maybe we have one more week left, but let's see. We've got 4,900 left on salary for this lineup. So I want to kind of see what we can make fit. DJ Moore dead to me. Jerry Jeudy, rough. Rashad Bateman, playable. But we've already got Andrews. Now, if we want to switch this up and be unique, I could get rid of Andrews and play Bateman as a correlative play, and I think that's fine as well. I'd rather play Andrews, but I will say the lineup might look better. So let's just see what happens when you put Bateman in here. The lineup will probably look better with a Rashad Bateman in there and some cheap tight end. Let's see which inexpensive tight end might stand out. Tyler Conklin with the Jets doing well. David Njoku, how about that after last week's game, going up against a 31st ranked tight end defense? I'm fine with that. Or even a TJ Hawkinson with some injuries to the players in the pass catching unit or Swift. I guess there's not really many injuries there, so won't count that. But let's go with David Njoku. Let's go with the cheapie so we can spend up in our last spot in this lineup. I would have liked to have gotten to Stefan. It can't even get near Stefan Diggs, no matter what you do here. So final spot, we could just plug and play a Pittman or an AJ Brown here. Or how about that? What about a double tight end situation? And then we can spend a little bit more on, see, I'm liking the way this is coming together. So we can get actually quite a few pretty decent to good players in this lineup. We have a Cleveland Atlanta. So you know what? I love it. Let's build some secondary correlation. So take a look at this lineup I have on screen, and I'm going to show you a few different things I did here in terms of correlative plays. Start with Josh Allen. We're going to pair him up with Gabriel Davis for the correlation. We're going to bring it back with Mark Andrews for the game stack. Now we've got cheap running back value based off of injuries at the running back position. We've got a player coming back from injury in Rondelle Moore with massive upside if he plays. And then we have a correlative Drake London, David Njoku, wide receiver, opposing tight end, secondary stack. I love it. This is your first look, DraftKings NFL Week 4. Remember to like and subscribe and notify bell and do all of that stuff for this video if you want all of the content we're doing over at DFS Army. And of course, if you want access to the tools, if you want access to the cheat sheets that I put out every week, we crushed it again in week 3. Mac Hollins, Zay Jones, Russell Gage, all the smashes, the cheap ones, we were all over it. Devontae Parker this past week. So, all you needed to do is be creative with your running back position or just start Lamar Jackson, and you pretty much were winning Millie Makers last week and whatnot. We showed it in our review, so make sure you check that out as well, the NFL Week 3 review, the look back. It's really important to watch the look back as well. And again, if you're not signed up at DFS Army, go check it out, dfsarmy.com. Promo code GEEK gets you 10% off VIP. Good luck, everyone. I'll see you guys next time. Take care.